Welcome to this month of the Laurel FIreWatch. I'm your co-host, Richard Blankenship.
And I'm your co-host, Art Stop.
Today's program, we're going to talk a little bit about smoke alarms. Now, summer's approaching, we're going to talk about using gas grills. We'll also talk a little bit about membership. And then our guest speaker today is going to be Dan Sheffield, who is the chairman of the Fire Prevention Committee for the Laurel Volunteer Fire Department. Smoke alarms. Like I always state every month when we have our show, how important it is to have an operational smoke alarm. We just changed the clocks. When we change the clocks, we change the batteries. If you have not done that, or you're not able to do that, contact your local fire department and we'll be happy to come out and change the batteries for you. There's a new smoke alarm coming out. It's been out a little bit, but it's coming out more now. It's a 10-year smoke alarm. Once it's installed, you can't take it down. It needs a special tool to get it off. And the reason for that is people don't want to change the battery, or they just can't do it, or they take the battery out because it's Christmas time and they need the battery for the kids' toys and it never goes back in. So I know the city of Laurel is changing some of their ordinances to mandate that we put in the 10-year smoke alarm. In this past couple of weeks, we've had a fire in Laurel. We had an apartment fire in Laurel where a mother and two children were saved by a residential sprinkler system. This is a big push in the state of Maryland that we are pushing residential sprinklers. They do save lives. During that incident, after the investigation, come to find out the mother and the two kids were asleep and she had a pot of food on the stove caught fire, and the sprinkler did activate and put out the fire. One problem that we did notice is that the smoke alarm that was installed was removed. It was unplugged and taken down. So at no time did they know that there was a fire until the sprinkler activated. And at that time, the mother was unconscious and did not either hear anything or feel any water or nothing from the sprinkler system. When the fire department arrived on the scene, they did rescue the mother and the two children. So again, you got to make sure that you leave the smoke alarms plugged in. They don't work if they're not hooked up or they're not installed properly. So please, we say this every month, and again, like I've always stated every time I do the show, I do code enforcement for the city of Laurel, I do residential sprinklers or residential inspections, and I find a lot of homes that have smoke alarms removed. I can't stress how important it is to you to make sure that these things are operational. You got to make sure that they're installed. You got to make sure that they're upkeep, and you should test them monthly.
The important thing about that is that residency, that building there previously had a fatal fire in it.
Back in the early 80s, we had a fatal fire at that same building.
When we were young men.
Yes, when we were young men. Matter of fact, at that time, I was chief of the fire department when that happened. And due to the amount of damage that the fire occurred, they made them put in residential sprinklers into that complex, which paid off when we had a fire there a few weeks ago. Again, like I said, we say the mother and two children. So it was well worth the money and the time to take care of that.
Congratulations to the property owner putting that thing in there and keep it maintained.
Yes.
It made a big difference. Well, I'm going to talk about, it's nice out, it's spring. We haven't really had winter, and that's good. My BG bill loves that. But I want to stress the point, we want to prevent fires. That's why we have fire prevention people here today. A big problem we have here in the city of Laurel is people who like to cook on the grill, and they either like to cook on the grill on their wooden deck next to their vinyl siding, or they like to cook on their balcony on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th floors. There's a law, ordinance, statute, whatever you want to call it, but it's a law here in Prince George's County. You cannot cook anything on a balcony in a grill, whether it's electric, gas, coal, what have you, because somebody will see it and they will call 911, report it. The fire department will have to respond out. If you're in a large apartment building complex, they will send a whole lot of fire equipment, and probably somebody will visit you, tell you to put the grill, take it out, put it out, get it off the deck, and you could end up getting a fine and a summons for it. So we want to emphasize the point, do not cook on the balconies. And do not cook on the wooden decks. It wasn't very many years ago that we had the major fire at Arbery.
Yes.
It started on the back deck because the guy had the grill on the deck, and it went in through the siding on the back of the house and went through his house and the neighbors as well. If you're going to cook on the grill, you need to get it off the deck. You need to get it at least 10 to 25 feet away from the house. That's the NFPA standard. I recommend as far as you can get it away would be better. And when you're done cooking, do not put the grill right back next to the house because it needs to cool off. I certainly would say if you haven't had your grill checked in a while, maybe you should check the burners on it. Check that gas line that goes from the tank to the grill burner itself. Those things are man-made. They're capable of crimping and breaking. You don't want a gas leak. You don't want a gas grill fire. If you use a charcoal grill, we want to emphasize the point, do not store that stuff in your house. That is a carbon-based, organic compound material. And just like mulch, grass, hay, anything else, that stuff will decay. It will get old and it will break down and it may spontaneously combust. So if you're going to use charcoal grill and use charcoal briquettes, what have you, store that stuff in a metal can outside of your house.
And like Art mentioned, it is a law in Prince George's County about using gas grills or any kind of grill on your balcony. Also, if anything should happen, because the fire department does have to respond to emergency to these calls, if they get involved in an accident or something happens, you as well can be liable for that incident. So you want to make sure you follow the rules. And I believe most of the residential apartment buildings, it is in your lease saying that you can't have any gas grills or anything like that on your balconies. And like I said, the weather's changed a lot here. Everybody's been out cutting grass and trimming up and stuff like that. You want to make sure that you follow your manufacturer's recommendations on using the equipment properly. Especially if you're cutting the grass, if it gets clogged up, do not reach your hand inside with the blade running to clean out the sides. Also make sure that the equipment is serviced and it's ready to go, that the blades are sharpened, that they are locked in place like they're supposed to be. Painting and stuff like that, people are trying to clean up, do chores around the yard, around the house, painting your house inside and out. Recommendation is don't do this by yourself at home. If something happens, you happen to fall off the ladder, there'd be nobody there to take care of you. So you want to make sure that if you're going to be doing that, somebody's there with you. And again, a lot of these ladders and stuff have weight limitations on them. I, for one, make sure I follow those things. If it says 225, that's not for me. We need to go a little bit higher with a better ladder. So follow the recommendation of the company, what if it tells you. If it tells you this amount of weight, don't put extra weight on it. Follow what it says. We want to talk about our membership. Every month we talk about people joining the Laurel Volunteer Fire Department. We have a regular membership and we also have an administrative side of the membership. We're looking for people who would be interested in joining both sides. So if you would like to volunteer some time to your organization, you can feel free to contact us at www.laurelvfd.org, and we will make sure that you come up and see us and get an interview and find out what you can offer, and we'll see what we can offer you as well. But we're always looking for people. And speaking about volunteering, I'd like to take a few seconds here to mention Paul Kirkpatrick, who works for the Laurel Cable. He's a volunteer. If you're not interested in the fire service or EMS, the city of Laurel does have a cable committee, which is all volunteer. They would be glad to, if you want to help there, they'd be glad to have you. They're always looking for people to operate the cameras and maybe do some other things. So if you're interested, feel free to do that. We've been doing this show for a number of years, and Paul's been one of the guys that does it every month, and he volunteers his time. Such as Art and myself, we're here volunteering our time, which we don't mind doing, because we're trying to get more members for the fire department. We're trying to get a message out to you how important it is. But once we shoot the show today, then Paul's got to go back. He's got to edit it, and it takes more time, and then he's got to get it on the air. And again, I know the Laurel Fire Department appreciates everything that he does for our organization. So today, like I said, we asked Dan Sheffield to be here, who is the chairman of the Fire Prevention Committee. Art's going to interview Dan. He'll have a few things he'd like to tell you as well. And that'd be our show.
All right. I'm here today with the new chairperson, leader of the Fire Prevention Committee. This is Dan Sheffield. Dan, thanks for coming today.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
What is the new name for the committee?
We're the Fire Prevention and Life Safety Committee for the Laurel Volunteer Fire Department.
Okay, and we're changing it to Life Safety Committee as well because
that's what we're focused on. We're focused on fire prevention and life safety.
okay. So we're expanding the abilities of the committee to work more in depth to life safety, not just fire prevention as well.
That's correct.
Now, as we get into that, will be more with car seats, you think? Burn prevention, things like that as we go along? Depends on.
What we're really going to do is we're going to focus on what the needs are of the community. And as we start to meet with our committee members and we come up with new ideas, we're going to develop what our goals are, what our mission statement is, and how we're going to get there. And that's what our focus will be on.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about Dan Sheffield for a little bit. When did you join the Laurel Fire Department?
I joined the Laurel Volunteer Fire Department back in May 2005. I joined as an administrative member.
Okay. Are you still an administrative member?
No, I'm an active member. 2007, when Chief Blankenship got us an ambulance, I had some members ask me, I had some previous experience with the Laurel Volunteer Rescue Squad, and they asked if I would help out with the development of the ambulance for our company. And I gladly did, so I switched over to become an active member.
Okay, so you're on the street running calls?
Yes.
On the ambulance?
On the ambulance, on the engine, on the tower.
Okay. Oh, so you're I thought maybe just the EMS only.
No, I'm fire 2,
and
instructor
EMS
3.
Provided all. Okay. Were you drafted into this position, or did you volunteer to become the co-chair for it?
Actually, I signed up to be on the fire prevention committee, and President Collins appointed me to chair the committee. So I'm really excited. I'd like to tell you about a couple things that we have going on.
Okay. Tell us what's coming up.
Thanks so much. All right, what we did is we had our first meeting last week, and we got together with a bunch of other people that were appointed to the committee and some folks that have volunteered for the committee. And we're busy setting our goals and our mission statements of what it is that we want to accomplish as a fire prevention and life safety committee for the citizens and residents and guests of Laurel this year. 2 groups that we've already established is our education group and our open house group. The education group, we're going to work close with the fire department auxiliary. I'm really excited about this committee because I have members on this committee from all facets of the fire department. We have active members, we have life members, we have administrative members, we have junior members. We even have a representative from the city government is also serves on this committee. So this committee is going to actually reach out and touch everyone. The auxiliary with the fire department is part of the Prince George's County Fire Department Ladies Auxiliary, and they've sponsored the poster contest for the past 20 years. Something that the city's also stepped into in the last couple of years. And we're making plans to work close with them in our education department for this coming fall for the poster contest. We're also working on having some summer camps at the firehouse during the summer with kids. I think our focus age group is between kindergarten and 6th grade, and we're still working that out. And we're also put together another committee for the open house, which we're going to set in October. You'll probably see us, the first time you'll see us come out as a committee this year is going to be the Main Street Festival, and which will have we'll set up a short program regarding fire safety for the kids. We should have some of the characters should be there, and also we'll have some volunteers wearing the costumes that we already have. We're going to hand out some fire safety literature, and we're going to offer some sign-up sheets for the poster workshops, which will come over the summer. And the poster workshops are also going to include a tour of the fire department.
I guess, first of all, Main Street Festival is the second Saturday in May.
It's May 12th.
May 12th this year. So put that on your calendar.
And stop by and see us. We're going to be at the 6th Street and Main Street. It's where our station is going to be.
Next to the church. Now,
also, something pretty exciting is last year, President Obama signed a proclamation on May 13th of 2011 announcing Emergency Medical Services Week. And he recognized the importance of ensuring that our nation's children have full access to high quality of care. And we're going to take advantage of that, and we're going to have some presentations available also in the city during the EMS week coming up. And this year, I believe the theme for EMS this year is EMS More Than a Job, It's a Calling. And it's going to be May 20th through the 26th. So look for some more exciting things to come out.
Okay, May 20th through 26th will be EMS week, and we as the fire department are going to have some adventures during that week?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Right now, Art, I'm keeping busy. Tomorrow, I'll be meeting with our board of directors for the fire department with a grant application, which I'm going to present to them and hopefully get their authority so I can mail it in. Grants are important. It gives us funding, and we need this funding in order to buy materials that we can give out for handouts.
Well, it's funding without taxes involved. Correct.
Right. It's not a tax on the citizens, but it is money that's geared towards a purpose.
Yes.
And our purpose here is fire prevention and life safety. And we talk about fire prevention, and you guys had spoken about this a little earlier this morning, about fire alarms, escape planning, and how important that is. Heating equipment is what Richard had spoken about earlier. Candles are important things. They also start a lot of fires. But we also want to talk about life safety. And life safety we mainly focus on our older population. And one of the main concerns that we have when we deal with life safety is fall prevention. So if you have a house that's cluttered, if your home is cluttered, or if your sidewalks are not smooth, or if there's obstacles in the way, it can really be challenging for our older population and cause them more difficult, and oftentimes they get injured. And as the body begins to age, it doesn't heal as quick and as fast as it once did. So their injuries are very severe as opposed to a younger person experiencing the same type of fall.
Good. The open house. Now, will the EMS week involve an open house type of setting? Or are we going to go out in the public more, or how do you anticipate that going?
We're still working on the details on that.
Okay.
We're always open for some ideas. And if anyone has an idea, if you're interested in joining our committee or becoming involved in the fire department, we have a special email address for the prevention. And our email address is prevention@laurelvfd.org.
And if you have any questions about life safety or things like that, that might not be a bad way to contact somebody.
All right, just send us an email. And we're still busy developing what our mission statement is and what our goals are. So stay tuned. We have some more good stuff coming up.
All right. How, if we had a daycare provider out there or a small kids' school program or something set up, if they wanted a firefighter wanted to visit the firehouse, how would they do that?
Right now, they can send an email into prevention@laurelvfw.org.
Okay. Would calling the fire station and leaving a message suffice as well for those who could do that?
At this time, with technology and busy schedules, it's reliable to send an email, and that way you can anticipate a quick response.
Okay, so it would be better for you and better for the customer if they would go by email and not try to leave you a message at the fire station.
Yes, sir.
Okay, excellent. I know we have the education, we have the auxiliary. We haven't worked with them too much before. What do you think that will work this year as far as that goes? You're talking about the poster contest.
Right. We have, with the fire department auxiliary, they're terrific members. They're always there when we need them. They're busy people, and they prioritize, and the fire department is very important to each of those individuals. I'm not representing the auxiliary.
But I want to emphasize that the fire department and the auxiliary are two different organizations within one, but we really want to work together because the more help you got cooking the meal, the easier the meal is to prepare, kind of a thing.
Speaking of cooking, they do have their monthly breakfast first Sunday of the month from
that's true.
9 a.m. to 11:30. It's about $8 for a buffet breakfast.
That's true, and thanks for bringing that up. But but I want to emphasize that we're two different teams, but we're on the same goal. We want to work together and combine our two programs to make maybe one bigger program and work more. Now, the grants you have, is there any other grants you could be looking for, you think, you're anticipating looking at?
We always have our eyes open. So if someone is aware of a grant program that we could use, that we'd qualify for through the Fire Prevention and Life Safety Program, it's something we'd gladly look into. But all of our grant applications and stuff do have to have board approval. And that's what I'm going to be working on hard tomorrow.
Okay. And we discussed about the board. The board are the guys, or the administrative members, men and women who help with the funding, financing the fire department, keep the tires on, things.
The direction of the fire department.
Okay. Has there been any challenges yet that you hadn't anticipated when becoming a member, this committee member? this committee chairperson?
We're brand new, but so far we hit the road with all 6 wheels running, and I think we're going to see some real nice programs coming out this year.
Okay. I will talk about one thing. We both have very young daughters. We want to emphasize that springtime's coming, summer break is coming. If your kids are going to go down for spring break this year, we want to emphasize that we want you all, because we both have young daughters, we care about them very much. Make sure that you get involved in where those kids stay at the beach this year.
Go with them.
We want them to be in safe places with proper fire alarm system and sprinkler systems that will function. Thanks, Dan, for coming.
Thanks so much for having me, Art.
All right. Okay, that wraps up for this month's of Laurel FireWatch. If you want to come by and visit the firehouse, we are at 7411 Cherry Lane, right next to the Laurel Hospital. Come by and visit us anytime. Please use the website to ask us questions. Use the Fire Prevention Committee's and Life Safety Committee's website to answer them questions. Dan will be glad to answer that. Springtime is coming. Watch out for the kids. They'll be coming outside playing in the streets. Watch out for them. Be careful with the grills. And I guess the most important thing is, if you see the kids with matches, please take them from them. Thank you.